Elon Musk's Mars ambitions, a noble goal or a facade for global domination. Elon Musk's highly publicized ambition to colonize Mars is often framed as a visionary endeavor aimed at ensuring humanity's survival and expanding its reach beyond Earth. This narrative, however, is challenged by conspiracy theorists who posit that the Mars colonization project serves as a convenient cover for a far more ambitious and potentially sinister agenda: the establishment of a global power structure controlled by a select group of influential individuals and organizations. Musk's unwavering support for Donald Trump, whose presidency is seen by some as crucial to achieving this broader goal, is interpreted by conspiracy theorists not as mere political alignment, but as a calculated strategic move. Trump's stated commitment to a crewed mission to Mars is viewed as a public affirmation of this underlying agenda, providing a seemingly benevolent rationale for the massive infusion of public funds and resources into space exploration initiatives that disproportionately benefit Musk's SpaceX. The substantial financial backing SpaceX receives, and is expected to receive in increased amounts under a Trump administration, is central to this theory. This funding isn't viewed merely as support for technological advancement, but as an investment in a long-term plan to establish a dominant position in the burgeoning space industry, ultimately providing the economic and technological infrastructure for a global power play. The Mars project, therefore, becomes a seemingly altruistic justification for the accumulation of unprecedented economic and technological power, enabling the realization of a far-reaching political agenda under the guise of scientific advancement. This interpretation casts Musk's public persona as a carefully constructed facade, concealing a more ambitious and potentially troubling endgame. Musk's massive financial contributions to Trump's campaign, a strategic investment in global power. Elon Musk's substantial financial contributions to Donald Trump's presidential campaign have fueled intense speculation about his motivations and the potential implications for global power dynamics. While often framed as an act of political support, conspiracy theorists interpret Musk's actions as a strategic investment in a broader, long-term plan to consolidate power and influence on a global scale. The sheer magnitude of his contributions, reportedly hundreds of millions of dollars, is seen not as simple generosity, but as a calculated move to secure significant returns on investment in a future controlled by a network of powerful individuals and organizations. This interpretation suggests Musk's financial support for Trump wasn't solely directed at influencing the U.S. presidential election, but rather at securing a pivotal position within a larger network of influential players, aiming to shape global economic and political structures. Trump's victory is viewed as a critical step toward achieving this larger goal, opening doors to unprecedented access to government resources and influence. The vast sums involved are seen not as simply funding a political campaign, but as capital invested in shaping a future where the levers of power reside with a select group. This interpretation casts Musk's financial contribution as a calculated gamble on a high-stakes game with global implications, potentially reshaping the international landscape in ways that benefit a select network of powerful entities, while the public is led to believe in a more benevolent narrative of technological progress and space exploration. The long-term implications of this strategy remain a subject of intense speculation and debate. Elon Musk and X, formerly Twitter, a tool for information control and the erosion of democracy. Elon Musk's acquisition of X, formerly Twitter, is viewed by some not as a simple business transaction, but as a strategic move to control the flow of information and manipulate public opinion. Conspiracy theorists argue that this control over a major social media platform is a crucial element in a larger plan to consolidate power and influence on a global scale. The platform's shift toward a less regulated environment, marked by an increase in misinformation, conspiracy theories, and unsubstantiated claims, is seen as a deliberate strategy to create an atmosphere of controlled chaos. This alleged strategy aims to undermine faith in traditional media, erode public trust in democratic institutions, and make it easier to promote specific agendas without scrutiny. Musk's use of X to disseminate potentially misleading information, attack political opponents, and promote favorable narratives is interpreted not as free speech, but as a calculated attempt to manipulate public perception. Given Musk's close ties to powerful figures and his involvement in political campaigns, this control over information is considered particularly dangerous. The potential for widespread manipulation of public opinion and the resulting impact on democratic processes remain significant concerns. This interpretation suggests Musk's media empire affair is not simply a business venture, but a crucial tool in a broader campaign for global power. The Musk-Trump alliance, a secret pact for global domination, the collaboration between Elon Musk and Donald Trump, is seen by some not as a simple political alliance, but as a crucial element in a far-reaching plan for global domination. This interpretation posits that Musk and Trump, along with other powerful figures, are part of a secret network working towards a new world order. Trump's presidency is viewed as a pivotal step in this larger scheme, providing access to resources and enabling the implementation of a long-term agenda. SpaceX, under Musk's leadership, plays a central role in this alleged plan. Its advancements in space technology are not just seen as technological progress, but as tools to achieve broader political and economic goals. The conquest of space, including the colonization of Mars, is interpreted not as a humanitarian endeavor, but as a means to establish a new global power structure. This alleged conspiracy theory suggests that the seemingly disparate actions of Musk and Trump are interconnected components of a larger strategic plan for global dominance, achieved through a convergence of technological advancement, economic control, and strategic political influence. Elon Musk's support for Trump, a warning sign of a shifting global power dynamic. Elon Musk's strong support for Donald Trump's presidency is interpreted by some not as a simple political endorsement, but as a critical component within a larger, more concerning global power shift. The close relationship between these two influential figures raises significant questions about the future of democratic processes and the balance of power on the world stage. Conspiracy theorists view this alliance as evidence of a hidden network working to consolidate control over technology, economics, and politics. Musk's actions, his substantial financial contributions to Trump's campaign, his control over a major social media platform, and his ambitious space exploration plans are seen as strategic steps in his broader agenda. The potential for a small group to exert disproportionate influence over global affairs, potentially undermining democratic institutions, represents a significant threat. While the existence of such a network remains unproven, the convergence of Musk's technological prowess, financial resources, and political influence with Trump's power warrants increased scrutiny and careful consideration of the potential long-term implications for global governance and the future of democratic societies. Trump, Musk, and the transformation of Europe's right. In the aftermath of the U.S. elections, Elon Musk's swift and noticeable support for Europe's far-right movements has drawn significant attention. As is well known, neoliberal movements have been losing influence, and many of their promises have failed globally. First, we all identified the rise of the right wing in Europe as the far right or extreme right within the context of the neoliberal paradigm, under the influence of the radical left and the Greens. However, those who interpret these developments solely through this angle often lack a deeper understanding of European parties' history and political evolution. In time, we will see whether the far right in Europe evolves into a form of social opposition similar to the Republicans in the US. Whether their focus will shift toward xenophobia and Islamophobia, or whether their stance will primarily reflect a nationalist outlook. Of course, the new US administration has dozens of topics to follow. The subjects announced by Donald Trump, the anti-immigrant stance, the fight against China, the invasion or annexation of Canada, bringing Panama back to the US, and acquiring Greenland are all critical. On the other hand, while much discussion focuses on the controversial aspects of Trump's presidency, he also addressed significant cultural shifts in the affirmative. For example, he took steps to stop the rapid expansion of movements like LGBTQ advocacy, which he believes would lead to the destruction of society. Now, in the United States, the LGBTQ community has so many advantages in the system that they have even replaced the WASPs in the founding of the United States, neo-partners. What stands out to me is Elon Musk's support for right-wing parties in the UK and Germany, along with his gigantic financial contributions to their campaigns. Much like Trump's efforts to defeat the Democrats in the US and dismantle their core policies, it appears that Musk may be positioning himself to influence the transformation of European states one by one, likely as a strategy to strengthen his broader alliance. First, Trump's policy toward the European Union and its member states has resulted from strategic neglect. This approach was evident during his previous term, but it also reveals a broader strategy to reinforce the United States, while simultaneously undermining Europe psychologically and economically. While the U.S. maintains an open economic rivalry with China, it is clear that it does not favor a strong and independent Europe. Instead, it prefers a Europe more dependent on American influence. The UK, having anticipated this trajectory, favored Brexit early on, to avoid the decline and instability that could destroy Europe. By exiting the system, the UK aimed to shield itself from the potential fallout. Fear of Russia in Europe. After World War II, the US became the dominant power over Western states. As a defeated nation, Germany was left without an army, relying entirely on the US for its protection and security. France retained its military capacity, but the states in between lacked the resources or potential to confront Russia effectively or defend themselves in any significant conflict. When the Ukraine-Russia war began, there was widespread fear that if Russia succeeded in overtaking Ukraine, there would be no force capable of stopping its advance throughout Europe to the French border. Looking at Trump's general approach, there was an expectation that he would abandon Europe to its fate. However, it now appears that Trump and Musk have no intention of leaving Europe untouched. Instead, they seem to aim at transforming Europe, leveraging powerful tools such as rising anti-immigrant sentiment, the economic contraction of European states, the decline in per capita income, and the erosion of prosperity. The economic drawbacks spark off in the form of growing radicalism, anti-immigrant rhetoric, and, as a result, a shift toward right-wing politics. Over the next 4 years, many European states could be reshaped by right-wing parties gaining power and aligning themselves with Trump's vision.